Hi guys, it's Kath, and we are up for another night of hashtag Educators Can. Now I'm just waiting for Nikki to come. Nikki was there until I pressed, and now she's not, so I'm not quite sure. Maybe her internet's dropped out. We'll just give her a minute to reboot. I'm assuming that that's what's happened. So as you come on, say hi so we know you're here. Oh, here's Nikki. Yay.
Yay. Okay, I'm back.
So tonight I have Nikki Leonti from Start Your Own Family Daycare with us, and we are doing our normal hashtag Educators Can that we do on a 7:30 on a Wednesday night, which has become a little bit fun and regular, and we're getting lots of questions through, which are nice. How are you going, Nikki?
Yeah, good. Our internet is ridiculously slow, so it's in and out tonight. The kids are not happy because Netflix isn't working. But so if I drop out completely, know that I am here in spirit.
Okay, mine's a little bit dodgy too tonight, so we'll have to see how we go then. It might be a quick one.
Yay!
Oh. Now I wanted to start just by sharing and asking people if they saw my memes that I put up this week from the training. And I did a Salmon and Slattery regional conference on the weekend, and I just wanted to talk to you about workshops that you've actually done in live person. And Nikki, do you enjoy doing workshops and networking?
Yeah, well, do you mean hosting them or just attending them?
Oh, that's a good one, because you host as well, don't you? I did mean attend.
Yeah, I host a lot of workshops in person, but yes, I do like to attend. It's just a whole different energy of being with people in all the same room. It's different to doing online training, and also it allows you to really connect with people and talk to all the attendees. Whereas if you're doing stuff online, it's really just between you and the trainer, and it's just a bit different. The only downside is with 3 kids, there's a lot of, juggling to make it all work if it's in person. Online is a bit easier that way, and usually it's recorded, so it makes it even easier to come back and watch it later.
Yeah.
But in person, it's definitely fun.
I think in person, yeah, you're right. It's got a different sort of energy about it. But I only manage to do 1 or 2 a year, whereas with online, I can do them quite regularly. So, I think it's important to try and get to at least 1 or 2 in-person trainings a year, just because it's so uplifting and motivating, and we cover different things that you wouldn't normally cover as well. So, for example, with my online training, I'll seek out something that I'm interested in, whereas with my in-person, if you've got 3 or 4 speakers over the day, you generally go because you're interested in 1 or 2 of the speakers, and the 3 or 4 are bonuses that you wouldn't normally focus on, maybe. And so you get different lines of thought and offering that you wouldn't normally seek out.
Yes.
Yeah. So I had a question.
Yeah. And I also think you get to talk with the attendees. So in your breaks, you kind of get to talk to them.
Yeah. And connect to people that you wouldn't normally connect with. Like on the weekend, it was mainly directors of childcare centres, and then some of the room leaders. And you sort of get quite a different energy than what you would with other family daycare educators. I think too. I'm just typing this in.
Yeah.
Now, the one speaker that really I really connected with on the weekend was Phil Butler, and he has some interesting YouTubes. I suppose I hadn't really decided whether I liked him or not. If that's, I think I'm allowed to say that. You know, sometimes when you watch something, you watch someone and you like what they're saying, but you don't really know whether you connect with what they're saying. I think that's the right way to put it. And so I went thinking, oh, I think I'll get a lot out of this, but I don't know whether I will enjoy his style of delivery, maybe, if that's the right way to put it. But I got a lot out of it. It really stimulated my thinking. And the way he put it was his aim for the day was to disrupt our thinking with the speakers that he had brought. And I think he definitely did that around documenting. And the question I have for you guys tonight is, do you see yourself as a professional? So I'll pop that up. And I wanted to ask all our family daycare educators, because I do work with both family daycare educators and centre-based educators. So as a family daycare educator, do you see yourself as a professional? And I see a lot of family daycare educators that can't get past the point that they're at home and they don't necessarily see themselves as a professional. So what I wanted to do was just do a little chat about how we can present and how we can move our thinking to see ourselves as professionals.
Yeah, well, I guess for me, this is one of the main things I go through in my online program. So in the Family Daycare Academy, like one of the first topics I talk about is that you need to remember that parents are hiring you, like they're paying for you.
Yeah.
And so they're actually paying for your service. I guess seeing yourself as professional makes you feel more aware that you are running a business, and it allows you to set out more boundaries around your time, you know, people paying on time, what you're going to provide, how you maintain the environment, because it is a business, and also how you present yourself in the community. Now, you know, over the last, 10 years since social media has really been big, this also completely applies to online, your online appearance, and how your professionalism needs to carry right through all of the different areas. So social media and other online elements, as well as in person, in the community, at the supermarket, driving your car. You are your brand, you are your business. So all of these different parts you need to be acting as a professional, just like anyone else would be who's running a business from home, whose customers and clients are community members. So, I see this happening, especially, I'm not just stereotyping all young educators, but, you really need to clean that up. Even though parents, even though you've got your business page, it's all spick and span and as professional as you want it to be, you've then got parents are going to search your name. They are going to look at your personal Facebook page. Check your settings, check what your profile pic is,
Google yourself, check it.
Yeah, check it, because that is putting out a level of professionalism out into the community about, how you present yourself and how you act and how you are going to be talking and just dealing with their children, because even though you may act super professional to families' faces, they want to know what you're like really behind the scenes. So seeing yourself as a professional, and you know, it's just it's not just a matter of what you're wearing, because that is really important. You know, don't just like roll out of bed and then just open the door. You know,
not answering the door anymore in your jammies.
No, I mean, obviously you've got parents. I know some educators have parents dropping off at 4 a.m. or, you know, really odd hours and stuff like that. But as a whole, you know, you want to get dressed up and, you know, and show up. So show up for work. This is your business, and just pretend that it's not your home for those 8, 10, 12 hours that you're working. This is your business. And you want to incorporate it because it is still your home. You want to incorporate that feel, but how you present yourself needs to be professional. And I'm not even talking about having, you know, branded outfits and stuff. That isn't necessary if you don't want to, but you still need to be tidy, covered, and look presentable.
Yeah. And so we've got some comments coming through. So Natalie says that I feel that I'm professional in my approach to my business, but I still consider professionals to be more like office people. And Ali says, we are educating children. Of course we are, and need to be professional. Do others see teachers as primary schools professionals? It's just a different age group. Absolutely. And I think, that's all it is. Absolutely. And a lot of us, you know, are trained the same as what we would be if we were working in schools or if we were working in other places. You know, we've done a considerable amount of training to get to that level now. So see yourself as a professional and make sure that your language, that the way you interact with others, the documentation that we put out is all, you know, of a professional level.
Yeah.
And going back to my the workshop on the weekend, and that's where he focused around, you know, his focus was documentation, but to make sure you're putting out that professional documentation, to make sure that you are looking at everything that you're doing, you have to first look at yourself and look at yourself as a professional. And I really liked that to, you know, sometimes, you know, if you don't think you're cutting it with your documentation or with, you know, certain things in your business that might just need to be up-leveled a little bit, you know, come back and look at yourself in the way that you look at yourself first.
Yeah.
Wait on, I'm working out how to, oh, there we go. Okay, sorry guys. All right, so the other question I had was, what sort of risky play can family daycare educators offer?
This is a really good one, because I've always, when I was teaching in kindergarten, you know, we were all for risky play. So whether that was climbing trees, you know, doing woodwork with hammer and nails to build forts, and, you know, allowing them to self-regulate how high they can climb, how far they can jump, what they could do, how hard they could hit things. You know, it's about allowing them the environment and the space to try these things, because if it's always like, no, be careful, no, be careful, no, be careful, like, and not creating any kind of risk, they just go out there. They've got no idea what is safe, because they've never been allowed to experience anything. So for me, that was a really great environment to really grow in my teaching practice, because I was had 20, 30 years experience, and they were brilliant, and they were very old school, where risk was just part and parcel of teaching children. So I think with family daycare, we still need to, so there was always two of us that could kind of supervise, whereas family daycare, there's one person. So you need to be all eyes on the particular activity that you might have available, or if it's just free play and they're jumping and climbing and doing all that, that's your focus. That is entirely your focus. So I guess it's around supervision and ensuring that, there's a level of safety, I guess, in that risky play. And obviously when we look at the risk assessment forms that we're doing and ensuring that's filled out, if you're still kind of quite new to childcare, then perhaps having a mentor, having a more experienced educator to talk with you, because you don't want to just let them run loose. And it's kind of a bit of a process, because you also need to know the children and have an idea. And I remember if he was to climb up on top of the cubby house, he'd be all right. I was like, I love this. Like, yeah, he'd be fine. He could get himself down, things like that. So it's about, they really wanted to know at what level he played at. And that's really important. And also that there's age appropriateness and all that kind of thing. So I'd love to know what they kind of went through in the workshop and what you do as well.
Yeah. So in the workshop on the weekend, we had Louise Durat, and she...
Hi, Catherine.
Hi, Catherine. And she has been working in a bush kinder for the last 2 years, several years, and in the process, she's helped create a lot of the understanding around how bush kinders can meet regs, but how they encourage children to self-regulate and understand rules, but also grow very much, how sort of the main concern parents had was how can bush kindy kids be ready for school? Well, a lot of them are more resilient, have an understanding of rules, have an understanding of boundaries, have an understanding of self-regulation, a lot more than children that are wrapped up and mollycoddled and kept inside all the time. So, and she spoke about them and the level of them climbing trees and them regulating each other, child to child, about the level of understanding each child's ability. And I bring that back to family daycare, because we have 4 children a day. We know our children really, really well. So for me, there's no excuse, I suppose, for, like, as family daycare educators, we can't say we don't know a child well enough to do risky play. I don't think if you've had a child for 12 months to 4 years, which a lot of us have done, that's plenty of time to really know a child's ability and how they're going to react and what they like and don't like, whether they can and whether they have learned to self-regulate enough to be part of like risky play. So it was really, really interesting too, because a lot of what she spoke on was, based on a kindy class. So for me, my head was like, oh, well, yeah, I'd only have 4, so I could do that. Or one fabulous example that she gave was when they went out into the environment, there were some bricks that had been dumped. And the children wanted to play with the bricks. And her response was, let's leave the bricks there. But the children wanted to play with the bricks. And so they worked through with them, okay, if you're going to pick them up, are you going to throw them at each other? Where are you going to throw them? How are you going to put them back down? All of those sorts of questions on safety questions, but posing them in a way where you're asking the children, so they have to think about it and they have to make rules for each other as well as themselves. And then they have to make the consequences of, okay, well, if we do throw these bricks at each other, we're going to hurt each other. So they picked them up and they lined up and they threw them a certain way so that they weren't going to hurt each other. And then they lined up on a creek, sort of trickle creek that was going through the park, and they all lined up along it and they threw it in, and then they worked out once everyone had thrown them, they could go in and grab them back. So she spoke about how they problem solved because they already had those problem-solving skills because they'd used them with something else. And yes, they were doing something that a lot of our children wouldn't get the opportunity to do, but that's part of the aim of risky play, is letting them do something that they wouldn't normally get to do, but for them to be encouraged to self-regulate so that they work out their rules for themselves and also get to do something that's fun. And I love that. Like, that's just, for those children to go to school already having those sorts of skills, I sort of think about, okay, well, how many children are going to school without those skills and not understanding the process of problem solving or self-regulating or, challenging themselves in a way that they will actually seriously get hurt rather than being able to self-regulate. I love going to workshops or watching, even watching some webinars, I think, which are aimed at centre-based care. And my head instantly goes, well, how can I do that with 4 children? Or would that work in our situation? Because a lot of the things that we do need to be adapted, for either a mixed age group or for 4 children, depending on what sort of mix we have at the time. But as an educator, I really enjoy that. Like, that's something I get a bit of a buzz out of, is working out how I'm going to be able to do that with my children. Has anyone got any questions around that? Or could you share with us, what sort of risky play do you offer? So we have 3 cubbies outside. We garden a lot, but I don't really look at that as risky play. I do have several gum trees in my backyard, and we talk about how high we should climb, what branches we should be climbing on, all of those sorts of things. So I definitely put that in the risky play category. We also do a lot of, I have the little hammers, and we do nails and hammers. With pre-drilled holes and not pre-drilled holes, so that the children can sort of learn the ways. I also have real bolts. We have holes with real larger sized bolts to do up. I don't know, that's sort of the ones that come up for real tools, I suppose.
I think when I think of risky play, it's using real tools, climbing. I guess just kind of giving them that freedom to create something that may not necessarily be what you would have done.
Yes.
So, yeah, like, you know, my kids are always building things that they wanted to jump off and see how far they could jump. So things like that, we do a bit of that. So
yeah,
I guess risky play is in knowing and also, you know, if the boundaries aren't firm. So for me, you know, it was always about the dynamics as well. But generally, with 4 children of really similar age, or when the younger ones are asleep even, it just allows you to do some fun stuff, some really cool things that it's really good for their development, like really helping them just be confident in knowing what their body can do.
Yeah, I like that. Confidence in themselves.
Yeah,
absolutely. And she spoke about too, which I'm going to think about as I go over the next month, but she spoke about what rules we have in place that don't really need to be there. Things like, some educators don't like their children building with the blocks over their knee, or some centres have it, they can't build the blocks higher than their shoulders. Well, if they're being reasonably supervised, why can't they climb on a chair and work out how high they can get their block castle? So what rules do we as educators have in place that really don't need to be there if we are supervising well and if our children have some sort of understanding of not hurting each other?
Yeah.
And I love that for a question as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got, Catherine says, excursions offer more risky play, such as fire poles, climbing challenges. On Tuesday, we visited a park with a hamster wheel and talked through the steps and where to push it. Children could catch fingers in the groove. There is a circular motion swing too. So we talked about where to walk so it spun in a huge radius. I love that. They would have got so much out of that.
That's a really good one.
And Natalie writes, we climb trees at the local park, loose parts play, drilling, old hand drills and cordless drills. Oh, I would love to get my hands on an old hand drill. How cool is that? Nailing, wall building with bricks and mud, making their own obstacle course. I like obstacle courses as well.
Yeah.
Because the children can move it around and challenge themselves and each other.
Yeah.
If you actually sit 3 children down and challenge one of the children to make something for the other 3, I love that, because it often goes nowhere near where we expect them to do. Like, they do things that we don't expect them to do. Super. Okay. So the last question we had was on apps. I think this is my area.
Absolutely.
What app should I use for my programming?
I get asked this so many times, and I also see it in a lot of the family daycare Facebook groups. Should I be using this app? What's better, this or that? So, yeah, I just had to bring that question here tonight.
I love it. Did I do that right? 2 M's. I had 3 M's there. I'm going, why doesn't look right? Okay, so I don't know quite where to go with this. However, I use Simple Reflect. Simple as that. I encourage family daycare educators to use Simple Reflect because it just makes things easier. And I think, so what I tell educators is, find a way that works for you. I say it all the time. Everyone hears me say it all the time. And find a way that works for you. Like, because I do, and look, what I say to educators as well is if you're going to send a letter to someone, do you email or do you pick up a pen and paper? And it's still personal choice. It really is. Some people just will not cope with, or don't feel comfortable, or aren't that way inclined to use digital products. They're just not comfortable to even send an email. So why go against the grain? Find something that you're comfortable with. If you would actually still pick up a pen and write a letter, then paper and finding some sort of form of diary or mind mapping or floor booking or jottings, one of those sorts of ways will probably still suit you best. And I know people don't expect me to say that, but honestly, that's what it is. But if you email, if you are Facebooking, if you actually feel that digital is the way that you want to go, then start experimenting with different apps, because seriously, they really do take a lot of the pressure off in the way that you do not need to write and rewrite and rewrite. Having an app that works for you will save you a considerable amount of time, and also with connection to families as well. Being able to email reports, observations, reflections, connection to parents, that is part of the big plus as well. What do you use, Nikki? Sorry, I can.
I think because we simply made it easy, because you could email parents directly through that, which made it a lot easier for me. And I also, in terms of communicating with parents, it was for me a combination of that and our private Facebook group. Yeah, because all my parents are online. They're on Facebook. They always open their emails, and that was the easiest way. And most of my parents, didn't have a lot of time to chat with me after pickup. So I did do, what we've done today. That would be by the door, but to be honest, it rarely got read. So just being able to email them was just the easiest way. And it saves a lot of time, because I like things to be done well. So I'd be writing it here, and then I'd write it again here, and then I'd write it again over here. It was just, doing my head in. So I just wanted to be able to make it easier. And, I'm a fast typer, and mistake. A whole lot quicker than writing them out.
And I think too, if you're comfortable using technology and you are typing, then you will get quicker as well. Like, it's something that it becomes habit. You do it without thinking.
Yeah, and see, I'm always. And I've spoken episodes of our show. I'm a massive fan of those that are useful. Then it makes my life a whole lot easier. So having that kind of all connect together, rather than, I know some educators who print photos out and stick them onto the thing, and that's fine. But for me, I was not going to be printing off photos. And then I also have a whole heap of photos for parents to, like, I send that to parents at the end of the year. So, I'm a digital person, and it really, that works for me.
Yeah.
Really works for me.
And I think there is something really lovely about printing off printing off photos to make up a memory book, or, you know, to make up a book if you do something special with the children that they can look at and that can be with the books. There's something really special about that.
Which actually, I did do this quick little video, it must have been about 2 months ago now, on Start Your Own Family Daycare page. Is this thing, if you actually printing off photos, so if you want to create like a, you know, an end of year album or something for each child, it prints off, like it kind of automatically loads photos from Facebook or your computer, whatever you want to do, and then it prints off these books. So it has 60 pages in a book, and it's all just photos, on one photo on each page. And they're these cute little books. I think they're like 10 centimeters squared, and you just get, they just email, like they just post them out to you when they're ready. And I've been doing this only recently. I just think it's the best thing ever to, you know, if you do want to be printing photos off as like a keepsake. It's not, it wouldn't be good for, like, you know, your daily, takes a couple of weeks each, which is just amazing. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, that would be clever. That would be really cool if you're doing like an excursion that you wanted to document for the children, to have like a permanent book that they can have in their book corner as well. That would be cool.
That would be cool. Or even like a child's birthday. It'd be a really nice birthday present. To do like you know, photos of them through the year. So
yeah, no, I like that. Cool. Now Natalie says, I subscribe to Simple Reflect, but I haven't done much with it. Sorry, Kath. One day soon I might get organised and make the time to set it up. I currently use Photo Collage Folder, Facebook, and Online Diary. And seriously, what works? Do what works. So yeah, that's our questions for tonight.
Cool. And we have done well. 45 minutes tonight. Impressive.
If you have any more questions, pop them in the comments below, or comments on what we've been talking about. I'd love to talk some more with you about some of the topics from tonight. That'd be great. But we will leave it there for tonight. Thank you, Nikki, for coming on. And
thanks for having me.
Now next week we've got a change that we need to tell everyone about. Super exciting. I'm actually away. I'm going to a Munch and Move training, which I'm super excited about. I love my Munch and Move, but it's been quite a while since I did any training on it, and they've updated it. So I'm going to go and do that next Wednesday night. And this way, Nikki has a announcement.
Yes, so next week I will be interviewing Catherine Haig from who is a family daycare educator from Lily Pilly's family daycare. She's a Montessori trained teacher as well. So yeah, I'm going to be chatting to her. Same time over on my page on Start Your Own Family Daycare, 7:30 next Wednesday. We'll be answering questions about Montessori environments. We'll be talking about, you know, how to really make use of space and all those kind of cool things. So if you have any questions, send them through to us, and we'll answer them next week.
I love it. It sounds great.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. It'll be fun.
Super. Okay, enjoy the rest of your week, guys. Thanks for being here with us tonight. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.